name is Carly Fox. I'm with the Worker Justice Center of New York, and as many of you know, because I've been active on Facebook about this issue, I drive by this bus station every day to drop my daughter off to school, and I've noticed a significant increase in the number of Border Patrol agents who are here since Trump took presidency. And so the presence of the Border Patrol is not new under this administration, but we did win a lot of effort to improve and reduce the number of Border Patrol that's here. But this problem goes back a long time. I remember in 2006 getting calls as one of the leading immigrant organizers in New York City was detained here in Rochester, and everyone associated and called me, he's in Batavia, what do we do? And since then, it's just, there's been so many people who have been torn away from their families and put into detention just for traveling from point A to point B. We're a sanctuary city. We've proudly announced that we're a sanctuary city, yet some people wake up from their ride in facing Border Patrol and get taken off that bus and put into a detention center. So I'm not sure how that's a sanctuary, and we got to organize and fight back and really give a message to our community that we want safety for immigrants. And so the most recent incident that happened here was after a couple who I learned of who were 64 years old, this couple, ended up in Batavia. And so I said, we've got to get the message out that right now it's not safe for folks without papers to be traveling. So I came over and I started documenting the Border Patrol. I had done it one other time. I'd come in and spoke to some people who were here waiting for a bus, and I asked them, it was a group of Mexican farm workers who had just finished a hard season picking apples, and I said, did the Border Patrol come into the station? They said yes, and I said, did they talk to everybody? They said no, they just came straight up to us. And so we know that there's a large degree of racial profiling that is happening, and that we want to make sure that everybody feels safe to travel. And so that was the first incident. The second one was when I came back and I was videoing, and the manager of the Trailway station kicked me off the property and said we could be on the sidewalk but not document. That obviously means that what we're doing by raising our voice and making this public that this is happening is a threat to what they're doing, because they don't want everybody to know, they don't want to know that they're actively racially profiling, that they're here creating a police state. So I want to make sure we get to hear from the speakers, and we have a lot of statements, and then we're going to be delivering a letter to the manager of this Trailway station. This is in conjunction with a national effort. So from coast to coast, from north to south, groups, community organizations around the country are saying to Greyhound, and we're extending it to Trailways, to Short Line, to all of them, that we don't want Border Patrol all over our community. So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our awesome MC, Justin, and he's going to take it from here.
Thank you, Carly. Thank you. Can we give her another quick round of applause? Let's get some energy going. How are we feeling today? How are we feeling today? I can't hear you. Oh, let me hear you say, I'm good. I'm good. If you're not good, it's okay. You can say I'm not good. You can say it a little lowly. But I'm good. All right, before we begin, turn to your left, turn to your right. Make sure you introduce yourselves to your neighbors. You're going to have a bonding experience. We're going to get loud together, share some stories, let them know what you ate for breakfast. All right, so to make sure that we can stay nice and warm out here, we're going to keep moving right along. We're going to have Iman from the American Civil Liberties Union read a statement, and then we will have a statement from You Are Dreamers, which is the undocumented DACA group at the University of Rochester. But first, without further ado, welcome Iman.
The New York Civil Liberties Union and 9 other state affiliates of the American Civil Liberties Union are urging Greyhound Bus Company to stop allowing Customs and Border Protection to routinely board its buses to question passengers about their citizenship and immigration status. The cooperation between Greyhound and CBP is not required and highlights the violation of its passengers' rights. It is not the duty or in the business of Greyhound to volunteer in reinforcing Trump's inhumane deportation regime. The company has a Fourth Amendment right to refuse Border Patrol to board its buses without a warrant. As one of the very few transportation methods in the city of Rochester and Monroe County, Greyhound should exercise that right to protect its customers. Not another day should pass with this happening. There's absolutely no excuse to allow discriminatory, invasive, and unnecessary raids on buses in New York and other border states. We have had enough of the unlawful interactions made between Greyhound and the passengers on these buses. Without a warrant or the company's consent, Border Patrol has no lawful basis to board and search a private bus. And by giving them this consent, Greyhound enables an aggressive police force with a record of disregards for constitutional rights to target innocent individuals and subject them to racial profiling and intrusive questioning. This spot in Rochester has been a hotspot for transportation raids for years. Border Patrol is seen here nearly every day, boarding buses and questioning passengers. Hundreds of passengers are taken to detention each year from domestic trains and buses along the nation's northern border. In Rochester alone, Border Patrol has arrested more than 2,700 passengers from October 2005 until last September. Greyhound is in the business of transporting its passengers safely from place to place. It should not be in the business of subjecting its passengers to intimidating interrogations, suspicionless searches, warrantless arrests, and the threat of deportation. We urge Greyhound to change its policy and to refuse CBP permission to conduct invasive bus raids without a warrant. These practices are racist and unconstitutional, and Greyhound has the power to change that. Thank you.